Hello! So let's talk about accessibility in hotels. For the past 2 weeks I've been doing a little bit of traveling and I've been staying in 2 hotels in accessible rooms. Yep, I said it. Hotels have accessible rooms and these rooms are meant to put disabled people in them. So there's supposed to be accommodation for people with wheelchairs, deaf people, I'm guessing blind people and maybe other people too, but I haven't checked the full list of things. But because I am the deaf person, I will be talking more about deaf accessibility. So one thing to notice about these rooms in general is that the room is supposed to be bigger so that people can get around with a wheelchair. So that is a huge plus. Now getting into the deaf accessibility thing, I have had different accommodations, some that were actually accommodations and some not so much, in different hotels. So for example, when I was at Playlist, I was in a hotel where the event was hosted, and in my room I got a vibrating alarm clock, which I didn't use because I had my own. I had a TTY, and now I know a lot of signers in the deaf community are probably going to say nobody uses TTY anymore, but the truth is, yes, a lot of us do. And then there was also a light that was supposed to tell me if somebody knocked on a door. I am more of a fan of doorbells, which I had in my loft hotel in Cupertino. But the thing about the Orlando one was somebody was supposed to knock on the door and then the light would flash. But I've had one person knock on my door and it didn't flash. It would flash when I would walk into the room and close the door, but not when anybody knocked on it. Not only that, but the door is like way inside a hallway, and if I'm just sitting in my bed not actually waiting for the person to come up to my room, I would not be able to see the light. So the thing about the Alat Hotel was that there were actually doorbells on, the outside beside the door. So you would hold that doorbell down for 5 seconds and it would flash. I had James test it out and it worked. Hell, I tested it out myself too and it worked. But the thing about doorbells is that it seems like none of the staff that worked there at these hotels actually use the doorbell. They just continue to knock on the door. They don't knock and use the doorbell just in case maybe a blind person is in that room. They just don't ring it at all. For example, I had an issue with the faucet in the bathroom when I was trying to take a bath. My water was cold. It was not hot. It was not lukewarm. It was cold. And so I needed to get an engineer the next morning to come in and fix it. Which, by the way, it was fixed, but it still didn't work. I still had cold water. But he was supposed to come around 8:30, which I thought was fine because I was supposed to leave by 8:15 to go do a work thing. And the guy was just standing out in the hallway. When I opened the door, he was standing out at the corner and just kind of like staring at my door, and I was very confused. And it turns out he was trying to get in contact with me, but he didn't push the doorbell to let me know that he was there, even though it's there and he's at the accessible room. It was like the entire floor, or at least that hallway, was the accessibility room hallway. A couple of other things that I've noticed. So the Playlist Hotel, I had a TTY or some sort of accessible phone. At a loft, I did not have an accessible phone. Now this was supposed to be a room that was very deaf accessible, but it wasn't deaf accessible in all the ways that it could have been. So instead of a TTY or a video phone or whatever, I got a regular phone that hearing people would use to call room service, the front desk, or anybody. That would not do me any good. Now really, I would use the TTY software on my iPhone anyway, but still, if you're going to be in an accessible room for people who are deaf and hard of hearing, I would maybe put some sort of accessible phone on the desk. Because yes, you can go downstairs and, ask for what you want to ask, but the point of a phone there is so you don't have to leave your room. As far as other accommodations go, like accommodations for people who are blind, who are in a wheelchair, or any other disability, I can't say much on that because I don't have those experiences. But if you got any experiences, good or bad, with hotels when you've been trying to get into an accessible room, please feel free to leave those stories down in the comments. If you want to follow me on all my social media, links to that will be down below. If you want to help support my content, you can do so by being a patron on Patreon, or you can leave tips on Coffee. Both links will be down below. I upload every Mondays, Thursdays, and sometimes Saturdays, and I will see you later. Bye!